Okay, we're going to go over the answers for the last 4 quizzes. We did a quiz on parent functions. We did a quiz on shifting functions. So that's like up or down or left or right. Then we did reflecting functions. And our most recent one was either a vertical or horizontal stretch or compression. Okay, for our parent functions quiz, question number 1 asks us to choose 2 answers here. We want to name the parent function. So this is a square function. And the second thing I want us to do is give the equation for the parent function. So that would be y equals x squared. Okay, we had to choose 2 answers, so the answers are going to be A and M. Okay, for number 2, they want us to name the parent function. This is the identity function. It's the line y equals x. Again, they want us to choose 2 answers, so the answers are F and H. Okay, question 3 is name the parent function. This is the absolute value function. And that would be y is equal to the absolute value of x. I have to choose 2 answers, so we'll choose E and I. Okay, for number 4, name the parent function. This is an exponential function. And give the equation that is similar to this graph. And I want you to notice that this graph is decreasing. It's getting smaller and smaller and smaller. So we're going to want to choose the exponential function that's decreasing. So L would be increasing. It's called an exponential growth. R's is decreasing. So that's called exponential decay. Again, we have to choose 2 answers, so we'll say this is an exponential function, but it's a decay, it's M. Now this function has been shifted down, but as far as the equation that's similar, we're going to say that it's the decay equation. So we'll choose A and M. Again, for number 5, name the parent function. Well, this is just a vertical line. The equation will be x equals for a vertical line. So again, we have to choose 2, so we're going to choose C and we're going to choose J. And that's it for quiz number 8, parent functions. Okay, now we're going to look at quiz number 9, so shifting functions. So this is pretty much just going to be up or down or left or right. For the first example, we have a +3, so that's going to be up 3. They are also asking you to describe the parent function. So this is an absolute value function. So our 2 answers will be E and H. Okay, for number 2, describe the parent function. Well, this is just a square root function. It's not a real square root. Now, because the -3 is inside, it's going to be right 3. So our 2 answers will be B and K. Okay, describe the translation. Well, this has been moved up 1, and it's also been moved right 3. So if we have to choose 2 answers, we're going to choose A and M. Okay, for number 4, we need the cubic function. Okay, the cubic function is going to be y equals x to the 3rd. So we can cross these out. All of these are the 3rd root function. The next thing we have to look at is we need to go left 5. Only 2 of these go left 5. Okay, the last thing is down 2. So only L goes down 2. Okay, final answer is going to be L. Okay, for number 5, we're looking for the graph that goes with this equation. You can see that it's x squared, but all of these graphs are x squared. So we want to look at the shifting. we have left 2 and down 4. Now the answer is H, and I put a bunch of dots there so that you can see that it goes left 2 and down 4. So the vertex is at -2, -4. So H is your answer. Now I'm removing all those dots so you can see the graph a little bit more clearly. But again, we went left 2 and down 4, and that's why your answer is H. Okay, that's it for our quiz number 9, which was on shifting functions. Okay, now we're going to take a look at our quiz number 10, which was on reflecting functions. Now it had a few examples from the past, so this first one is just shifting. We've got to choose 2 answers, describe the type of translation that's made from absolute value of x to get this new function here. So this part here is right 3. So we have to choose B as one of our choices. This part here is down 2. So we're going to have to choose F as another choice. Okay, final answer here is B and F. Okay, here's another example of just shifting or translating. We're going to take x squared, we're going to shift it, and our answer will be this one here. So what types of translations did we make? Well, this here is left 3, so we're going to have to choose B. And the +1 means you're going up 1. So that'll be G. Okay, we have to choose 2 answers, so we're going to choose B, we're going to choose G. Okay, this quiz is about reflecting. So here's our first example where we actually reflect it. If you take the absolute value function, you put a negative in front of it, that's going to flip it upside down, just like this. Now, to get the graph in red, we still have to move it up 2. So we're going to have to do +2. So this is what we're looking for here. So the answer that we're going to choose is going to be D. Okay, here's another example of reflecting a function. We're starting with the square root of x. We're going to put a negative on the inside, and that will reflect it left. So it will look something like this. Now we have to move everything down 1. So I'm going to need to put a -1 over here. And so this is the equation that we're looking for. So the correct answer will be B. Okay, last example for reflecting functions. We have to choose 2 answers. We're starting with a square root function. We put a negative inside, and they want to know what type of reflection is that. Okay, this is the x-axis, this is the y-axis. The square root function normally looks like this. Putting the negative inside is going to reflect it to the left. So now it looks like this. So that type of reflection is a y-axis reflection, and it's also a reflection left and right, because the right side reflected to the left. Final answer here is going to be B and C. Again, we had to choose 2 answers. And that's it for quiz number 10, reflecting functions. Okay, last quiz, quiz number 11. It's about vertical or horizontal stretching and compressing. So let's have a look. Question asks, what does the 2 do to the square root function when you put the 2 right next to the x? Well, because the 2 is inside, we're going to say that it's horizontal. So one of our 2 answers is horizontal. A 2 on the outside would be a stretch, but because this 2 is on the inside, it does the opposite. It's going to be a compression. So final answer is going to be A and D. Okay, here they want to know what does the 3 do to the square root function when we put the 3 on the outside. The 3 being on the outside makes it a vertical. And because it's more than 1, it's going to be a stretch. So this is a vertical stretch. Final answer, B and C. Okay, here it says that the blue graph is the graph of x squared. So that's this one right here. This is x squared. What is the equation of the red graph? Okay, it might look a little bit brown, but it's supposed to be red. What I want you to notice is that the height here is 4 and the height here is 2, so it's half as much. So if the height is half as high, then basically you just have a 1/2 in front. So the equation for the red graph is going to be, we have to choose A, it's y equals 1/2 x squared. This is called a vertical compression by a factor of 1/2. Okay, for number 4, it says that the blue function is the square root function. What is the equation of the red function? Again, it looks a little bit brown, but it's supposed to be red. Now what I want you to notice is that this blue point is at 1 and the red one is at 2. I'm talking about the x value. This blue point is at 4. This red one is at 8. This one is at 9 and the red one is at 18. So for the same height, the same y value, your x value is twice as far away from the y-axis. So what we're looking at here is we're looking at a horizontal stretch. To get a horizontal stretch by a factor of 2, we have to put a 1/2 next to the x. A 1/2 on the outside would be a compression, but a 1/2 on the inside is a stretch. The final answer for this one is going to be D. Now one way to make sure that this is the correct answer is you could just plug in a point. When I plug in a 2, I should get 1. So let's do that. Let's plug in a 2 right here. So the blue one is the number I plugged in. And it does give you a 1. Let's check one more point. When I plug in an 8, I'm supposed to get 2. Let's check. Plug in an 8. Yes, you do get 2. Let's try one more. Plug in an 18, I'm supposed to get 3. Yes, it works. Okay, last one, number 5. We're starting with this graph right here. And we want to know which graph below is a vertical compression by a factor of 1/2. The fact that it says vertical compression means that we want to push down on it vertically. Clearly the answer is C. It's the only graph that's been pushed down vertically. A has been compressed horizontally. B has been stretched horizontally. And D has been stretched vertically. So the correct answer is going to be C. And that's it for the vertical or horizontal stretch and compress functions quiz.